Congratulations to Money Today Network for hosting the Global Issue 2016 Startup Wars. My name is Benjamin Joff. I'm one of the 3 partners at the HAX Accelerator. It's true that the startup scene in Shenzhen and in China has grown dramatically. What's interesting about Shenzhen is that it's an ecosystem that's accessible for startups from China, but also from outside. And that's why we're here. 90% of our startups actually come from outside China, only 10% from China, even though that share is growing. So we find this is an excellent ecosystem to accelerate the development of products and to get them to scale. And the ideas themselves and the founders themselves can come from anywhere, and then they can target any market. Generally, our startups target the US market first, sometimes China. And I think what's important about Shenzhen is to realize this is a set of resources that founders can use. So Shenzhen is today the supply chain, basically the supply chain for electronics of the world. So it has thousands of factories that go from prototype factories to scaling factories, like Foxconn, the very big ones. But you also have a lot of resources for prototyping. So I think this is an advantage that's very, very hard to replicate. I think Korea probably has a lot of strength in R&D and early prototyping resources. But when you want to grow later, to accelerate your prototyping and to build products, Shenzhen has a huge advantage. So when we choose applicants, the most important thing for us is of having a working prototype. A working prototype tells us about 80% of what we need to know, because it tells us the market they're targeting, the solution they have, the skills of the team in terms of technology, in terms of design, and essentially it tells us most of what we need to know. It also gives us a good sense of how defensible the technology is. What's special about HAX compared to other accelerators is that our focus is 100% on hardware startups. So that means the investments we do range from robotics, IoT, health technologies, lifestyle products, smart home. We cover everything. In addition, HAX has grown a lot in the past 4 years. When we started, we're doing just 10 investments in 1 year. This year, we're going to do 40 in Shenzhen, so 30 international, 10 Chinese. We also started a new program in New York as a joint venture with BMW, focusing on smart cities. This program is going to do 20 more investments. At least, we also have a company from Korea called BBB, and they do a portable blood testing, smart blood testing device. And we expect also a lot from our latest Korean investment called the Alpha Labs that is making the next generation of augmented reality glasses. Even though we talk about Asia, there's huge differences between size of market, infrastructures, and all those things according to where you are. So China is a huge market. Japan is quite large. And Korea is a smaller market. So Korea, as a market, has to generally consider exports, especially for physical products. I think, as entrepreneurs, the idea is really to combine the best of what you have in your own country with the best resources you can access outside. It could be Shenzhen, it could be Silicon Valley. And I think it's what we try to do here, taking entrepreneurs from around the world, taking them to Shenzhen, taking them to Silicon Valley to make all those connections. I really hope that Korea generates more startups. And I think what's really missing in Korea, and I see that in Japan and Taiwan, actually I see that almost everywhere except US, China, and Israel, is that entrepreneurs kind of lack a global view. And to get this global view, you need to have lived and worked overseas, or at least visited. And in particular, I think the proximity of Korea and China should encourage entrepreneurs in the IoT field and hardware field to come over, see what happens, and learn to use those resources. Learn to use the resources in China, learn to use the resources in the US, build bridges. Another thing that's missing is the self-confidence in the big dream. If you go for a big dream, it makes everybody excited, and it makes it easier to attract investment, to attract talent, and to basically build something that has more ambition. So I would say be ambitious, see the world, and use all those resources to create global successes. Well, it's my pleasure. Sorry I couldn't be with you today because I'm in between like 4 different countries at the moment. But I hope to visit very soon and encounter more Korean startups. Thank you very much.